Hi guys, and welcome to Unity tutorial of how to create health bar. So let's start by collecting all of these health bar. There we have one. Let's move forward. We have two, keep going, 3, 4. As you can see, as we collect the health bar, we gain a point. So let's come in here. As we collect we have 5. Go back, let's try and collect the others. 6, 7, and one more. Let's see, where's 8. So we have a winner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys straight into Unity development environment, and we put one of these very nice tutorials together. So let's do that now, guys. Hi, and welcome to Unity tutorial of how to create health bar. So I'm going to start by clicking on the hierarchy and let's select 3D. Then I will select plane. I'm just going to make the size of that plane about maybe 100 and 100. Yeah, that's good. Right. Okay, and I'm going to let's change the name of these to, just change that to ground. There. And let's add the bricks. I'm just going to drag that. Just drag the brick and drop it in here. And I'm also going to drag the images that I intend to use for my health bar. There we go. Now let's select this red one, and right here let's come straight to texture type, and I'm going to change the texture type to Sprite 2D, and I'm going to repeat the same thing for this one. Let's click on apply though, and repeat the same thing for the other one. Click on that and change it to Sprite 2D and UI, then click on apply. There we go. You see, now you see the small rectangle there. You click on it, you can see your sprite has changed shape. Okay, that's fine. See, this plane, what I intend to do is let's grab the brick. Those are the bricks, and I'm just going to grab one of them and just convert it to, let's go back in here. Let's right click and create material. Let's come right in here. Where's material? There. And I'm just going to change it to maybe brick. Let's rename it. Bricks with an S. Okay, select the material, bricks with an S, click on the albedo, and I will select maybe this. Yeah, that's fine. And there. And I'm going to drag it, just drop it there. And let's make sure the material is still selected, and I'll just change the tiles around to maybe about 16 by 16. Let's see how that's going to look like. Yeah. Okay, that's not too bad. 16 by 16. Alright, let's come in here. I am going to add some buildings. Let's come right in here. See my folder called White City. If you want the White City images, you can always get those from the asset store. So double click on the buildings, and let's grab some of the buildings and just dump it on board. Then we add some life to it, some trees to give it a life. Okay, just drop that in there and just increase the size to maybe about 2, 2, and select that and just move it up. There. I'm just going to copy more images and just dump it there, just to make it look a bit lively. And just Control D, copy, and just change it around. So let's add more buildings anyway and speed that up. Right, one here. Round. Let's go back to the default mode. And let's come right here. Let's go straight into our standard asset, and right in here I'm going to double click on this character here, and inside the character, I'm going to grab a ball there. Let's go to prefab, and that is the ball. Just drop it right there. There we go. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the camera to follow this ball around. So to do that, let's select the camera and let's call the ball player. Change the name of that ball to player. There we go. Now select the camera and right in here, scroll right down. Let's grab the ball. We can even go back to the asset and let's right click and select C# script, and in there I'm just going to call it camera controller. There we go. That's my camera controller there coming up. And double click on the camera controller to open it up. Or click on open there. Okay, I'm going to declare two variables here. One is going to be private and the other one is going to be public. So let's say public game object, and this very game object we just call it player to make life simple for us. There we go. And right underneath I'm going to declare another one that I'll call private vector3, and we call that offset camera. Yeah. And the offset camera, I'm just going to grab hold of that. Let's copy it all. And right in here, I'm going to ask it to, let's say offset camera equals transform dot position of the camera itself, dot position. And I'm going to subtract that from player position dot transform dot position. Enter semicolon to end it. Okay, so we now need to also put together a line of code. I'm going to call that void late update because it's not going to return any value. So let's just say transform dot position, paste that in there. That will be equals to the player position, and you add the offset camera to that to get the exact location of the player, and that's it. So that is taken care of. So I'm going to save that. Save that, and let's go straight to Unity there. And right here, let's select our camera. Make sure, let's see, the line of code is not attached to it. I might as well just attach it to it. Just drag it and drop it on the camera itself. There we go. And now it should be attached to it there. And now it's asking me where is the player, and the player is right here. So I'm going to grab the player. Where is the camera? So let's pin that camera down so that we don't move it around anymore. Okay, let's grab the player and just drop it right in there and there. So let's now run the program and see how that's going to look like. Okay, that's the player right there. So if I move the player, let's see, you see the player is moving, but it's moving very slow. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out. Let's select that very player and increase the speed rate, or the speed of that very player. Let's make sure it's selected. Alright, there, that's the speed. So I'm just going to increase the move power. Let's make that maybe about 80 just to speed up things a little bit. And the jump, let's make that about 1. And maximum velocity about 50. So let's run it and see how that's going to look like. And there we go, guys. So let's move it. There we go. Look at that, speeding away. Let's come back. Yeah, I like that. All right, that's fine. So the player is moving how we want. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right, stop that. Now, what I'm going to do next is, you see right here, these trees, they look very messy. Look at it. So I'm just going to tidy that up. So let's come right in here and just create an empty game object. That very empty game object, let's call it trees. There we go. And grab all of these trees and just dump them inside the empty game object called trees. Let's see, I think they're small. Let's grab them, drop it right in there, and we can then collapse it, get it out of the way. Since I still have more. There we go. Okay, let's get that collapsed. Alright, look, it's looking a bit tidy now. So dump this in there and get it all collapsed. Alright, that's fine. What about the buildings? Let's create another game object, empty game object. We just call that buildings. There we go. And we're gonna grab all of the buildings and just dump them in there. Select it all. There we go. Drag, drop, collapse. There, looking much tidy. Okay then. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to add some collectibles. Okay, so collapse that. Let's create another game object, and I'm just going to call that collector. And inside this very game object, I'm going to create some collectibles. There's right click on it and let's select 3D objects, create a cube. I have a cube in there, so let's select the cube, and I'm going to increase the font size of that very cube to about something I can see anyway. I'm going to make it 5 by 5 by 5. I think it's right here. Move it right there where we can see it. There we go. Let's bring it down a little bit. There. And let's change the angle to about 50 by 50 by 50. There we go. And there. So let's move it nearer so that we can see it. Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah. Alright. So let's create, right click and create another material. This very material, I'm going to change the color of that material to yellow. So let's just enter 0 in there. That's it, yellow. And just select that very material and drag that and drop it right in there, right on top of the cube. There we go. There. So this very cube, I'm going to change the name to collectibles. Collectible. There. And this very collectible, let's make it spin around. So make sure it's selected, and let's create another script. I'm going to right click and come right up here, script, and that script, let's change it to roller. There we go. Now make sure roller is selected and get it opened. So now right inside this code, I'm going to get rid of this because I don't need it. I just need the update alone. So right in there, what I'm just going to do for this ruler is I'm going to say transform.row, rotate, transform dot rotate. That will be new vector 3, and we just make it 15 by 30 by 45 there. And in here, because we want it to rotate by time, I'm going to say time multiplied by time dot delta. Enter semicolon here. There. And that's all there is to that. So let's save that. I will make sure the roller is attached to the cube. Let's come in here. So grab the roller and just dump it on the cube. There we go. That is that taken care of as well. Now let's try it out. And as you can see, the cube is rotating. So the ball should be able to go near the cube. Let's see it come back in here, ball or the player, and smash the roller. It's a little bit too fast. I may have to reduce the speed. Okay. Let's move the player nearer a little bit and let's see what's going to happen. Oops, stop that. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I think we may have to move this cube up a little bit as well. Alright, that is fine. Now, this very cube, I'm going to add, make sure it's selected. Let's come in here and let's see where we have this trigger. I'm going to just make sure it is checked. Okay, the whole idea of this is triggered is when the ball hits the cube, you'll be able to collect it. Without that, it's not going to work. The other thing that we need to do now is, you see where we have tag. I'm going to give that a name. Let's come right in here. You see right there, add tag, because I don't have tag for it anyway. And let's come down in here. You see where we have list. Just click there, and that very tag, let's give it a name. We can just call it item. Let's do that again. Item collect. Okay, you see the spelling item collect, make sure it's exactly the same spelling. Okay, I'm going to save that, and I'll go back in there, select the cube, and right here let's look for the tag item collect, exactly the same spelling there. Okay, it's now a collectible item. Now that that is done, I'm going to drag this very cube, just drag it straight into my project area so that I can convert it into what is known as a prefab. That is it right there. It's now a prefab. I can now distribute it around. There we go. Let's have another one around here. Okay, so let's run it and see how those three are going to work. I'm going to add maybe about 8. Then we'll write some lines of code for the collections. There we go. There. So those are the collectibles around the neighborhood. So you can just collect them when you want. And that is fine. Right. Okay. Okay. So let's drag first of all these collectibles straight into their respective folder here. There we go. Now, what I want to do is, I am going to right click here. Let's create a script. And this very script, I'm just going to call it item for collection. Alright. Now, let's open up item for collection. I'm just going to click on open for the item, the script called item for collection. Okay, let's minimize that first. But one thing, you see this script called item for collection. I'm going to paste it right inside the player. Okay, there. Now, the player now has item for collection, but there's no single line of code in there. But before I go any further, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to right click in here and let's create a UI. So do that again, UI. Let's select canvas. Where is it? Right there. And now right inside our very canvas. I don't want it inside the player, I just want the canvas alone. Just drag the canvas out there. Okay, see this very canvas? I'm going to right click on it. Let's create images. Go back to UI and I'm going to select image. And that very image, I'm going to change the name of that image to, just change it to rings. Okay, come in here. That'll be ring. With an S. Good. Now I have my ring in there. Now that the ring is in there, I now want, you see the red one? My very first ringed red circle. I'm going to drag it and let's dump it right inside the source image there. Okay. There's one other thing that I should have done. You see this canvas? Let's come straight to where we have UI scale mode and let's change that to scale with screen size. There we go. Now you see this very ring that I've created. I'm going to make about, let's say maybe 8 or okay, 8 we do. Let's just right click and create duplicate. We need about 8 and do that again, duplicate, and we need 2 more. Okay, we have 8 in total. There we go. Okay, that's fine, we have 8. Now okay, back in my script for item for collection, okay, let's open it. Okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to create using Unity engine.ui. There we go. Enter semicolon there. And right in here, I'm going to create some variables. The very first one, I'm going to call it public int. Let's say health. There. Okay, public hint health bar. Right there. And I'll create another one. I will call that number of health bar. Public. And this number of health bar number, that will be number. Let's do one thing. My number of health bar, I'm going to make that 8. There we go. Now underneath, I'm also going to create public image, and this very image, that's going to be an array there. And this array, I'm just going to call it, let's say, circles. There we go. Let's put an S there. That is my array. Now I'm going to create another one. I'm going to call that public. Let's call that sprite. To take care of the sprite, I'm going to call this field circle. And the other one, I'm going to call it empty circle. Public sprite empty circle. Alright, now that I've created all of that, first thing first, let's save that. Okay, and I'm going to head straight back to my game right here, back to Unity. And if we select the player, let's come right down here. Those are the variables that I just created. Okay, the 8s that are entering there, that's going to be the 8 cubes. And in here, I have my array. So we can grab all of these rings and just dump it in there. Let's select the player and just lock it down so that we can we have room to maneuver. So select all of the rings and drag it right in there. Oh, where is it again? Let's make sure it is selected. Yeah, it is selected. Grab the rings, drag and drop it right where is it? Circle. There we go. So I have it in there. Now where I have filled circle, I'm going to grab this one that is filled circle, drag it and drop it right in there. And where I have the empty one, I'm going to drag and drop the empty one in there. Right. Okay, there's something I haven't shown to you guys. I'm going to, you see, every single one of these rings, let's rearrange them so that you guys can see them properly. So let's go back to 2D right there, and there we go. That's the very first one. So let's come in here. I'm just going to drag it, drop it where I can see it, maybe up there for now. Then we change it to around number 2. Grab number 1. Okay, that will be, do that and just rearrange it all side by side, and there they are. So what I'm going to do now is let's unlock this very player, and I'm going to select each individual and just reduce their size so that we have enough room. So let's come in here, and I'm just going to make that about 25 by 25 there, and we're going to move that down. Okay, let's come in here, bring them all together first though. Bring them all together and we just move it down, position it right at the bottom, select the very first one, that's fine, and just bring all of them together. That is number 1 and that's number 2. Okay, just move them very close to each other. So just speed that up anyway. Okay, I will now select it all again and just paste them, drag them right at the bottom. So let's grab it this way and just bring it down gently. Keep going and bring it right here where we can see it. There. So I'm going to run it now. Let's click on run. Just see how that's going to look like. There we go. Look at that. That's not bad. Okay, now that is done. Okay, let's go back to our lines of code. Double click on items to be collected. Now, okay, I got rid of the comment here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use a for loop for int I. Now I'm going to say I equals 0 because the arrays start from 0 up to 7, and I, that is going to be less than circle circles dot the length of that very circle. Okay, the length of the array itself. Column I plus plus. So let's use curly braces. And I'm going to now use an if statement. If I is less than health bar, okay, then in that case it's going to be circle, enter the array I dot sprite equals fill full circle, there, else full circle is going to be empty. So let's grab this. I'll just change that to empty. Else equals empty right there. There. You have to be careful when you copy. Okay, now, so what I'm going to then do next is I now want to check if I is less than number of health bar. In that case, what I then want the system to do is circle, we want to disable it. Of dot enable equals true. That should be true. There. Else is going to be false. Come down here. Else there. That will be false. Change this to false. There we go. So I'm going to save that. And let's return to our Unity games now and see how that's going to work. So go straight to Unity. And let's click on run. There we go. So with the player selected, I'm going to change number of held bar. Let's change that to 1. You see that? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I'm going to add 8 of these cubes in there. Once the ball, or once the player pick up any of those cubes, then we get a point. So let's come back in here. So I'm going to go back straight into my codes. Back in there. Now, before I continue, let's go back into our games here and do one thing first. Let's get this out of the way. I am going to add right in here. Let's right click. I'm going to add a text. Let's go there, grab that very text. There, the text is right here. You guys might not be able to see it, but let's make sure it's selected. I'm going to call that very text. I'm going to call it count text or counter, something like that. I think it's right here. Let's get rid of the player first. Select the text again. There. And right here, that is the text. We might not be able to see. I'm going to change the color to something we can see. Let's go for yellow. Right. Okay, I'll make it. Let it be a bit brighter. And enter 0 here. Alright, that is it. Selected. And that's it right there. I'm going to increase the size of it to about, let's say 26. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. And the text content in it, I'm just going to call it counter. There. And now, the name of the text itself, I'm going to call it counting text. Alright, counting text, that is it right there. Okay, you see it's counting text. I want it aligned right up there. So hold on to the shift key, alt, and click right up there, and that's counting text right there. Okay, I'm going to right click on counting text to create a duplicate. Create duplicate, and this one will be display winner. Display, that's a winner. Okay, display winner. Yeah, and display winner, the text on it can also be display winner right here. Display or display winnings. There we go. Make this uppercase. And as for display winnings, that is right there. I'm going to select display winnings. Let's make sure it is selected. And let's go in there where we have the rect transform. Click on that. And hold on to shift, alt, and just click on the right one here. That's it. Display. So we're not able to see it properly. We just need to increase this font. Increase it to maybe 180. Okay, maybe about 200. Okay, then that's good. Even this one, It's not, I don't think it's displaying it all. Let's come in there. Okay, counter is called, that's fine. Alright, that is fine. Now that those two are taken care of, let's go back to our codes in here. Now the very first thing I want to do is, okay, but just make sure you have your UI there using Unity Engine UI, else it's not going to work. So I'm going to create the following variable. I'm going to call one of them counter private integer counter, and the next one is going to be public. Let's call that display text. I'm going to use that for the winner, so that should be text here. There, and we'll create another public variable, and that's going to be for, let's call that winning text. Display winning, no space, winning text. There. This one, let's just change it to display score. I think that's more, yeah, display score. Now right in here, the first thing I want to do is, you see this counter, let's initialize the counter. Right inside the start void, counter equals 0. There. Okay, and the winning text, this very one, there'll be nothing inside it. So let's come down here, paste that in there, dot text equals nothing. There, that takes care of that. And right underneath here, what I'm going to do is, right underneath, this is for my health, but I'm going to go right underneath the health itself. So we have the health right here. Okay, right underneath it there, let's say private void on, let's say on trigger enter. There, on trigger enter order. So let's say if order dot game object dot compare tag, and that tag, let's assume that tag is, remember the tag that I created earlier, let's come in here, this has a name. Okay, let's select one of those cubes, select this, and let's go into the, that is it there. Okay, the tag item collect is called, the spelling must be the same. So back in here, and that is item collect, else it's not going to work. So come right down here, and if the item, if it's item collect, we now want counter equals counter plus 1. There we go. Okay, in that case, other game object dot set active, that is equals false. There we go. Now let's do one more thing to display the text. So to display the text of the winner, we now need to come down here and just say void, and I'm just going to call that display winner, or winner display. Okay, winner display. There, inside this method winner display, I'm now going to use this very one here, where is my text. I'm going to go for display score right here, display score dot text equals display score space, and let's put a column here, class counter dot convert to string. So there, so that will display whatever collections we made in here. Now the next thing is, let's use an if statement. If counter itself greater than and equals to 8. In that case, we now want the winning text here. Where is it? Yeah, this one. Grab it. The winning text. We now want it to display as follows: winning dot text equals you wins. There we go. That's it. Take enter semicolon. Right, that is fine. So we now need to call this. Let's call this method here. We have to call it right inside this trigger here. There. And we also have to call it inside the start. Let's go up there. Where's start? There. Now to run things up, you see where we have update, we now need to check right inside update here. We just want to make sure the health bar itself equals counter. Okay, so for every collectibles that we get, the health bar is incremented by 1 there. Okay, so let's save it. I'm going to save that, and I'll just show you the lines of code again. Those are my variables. Okay, bring it down. Let's see. The only private one is the counter itself, and take it down. This is where I've added a counter to the health bar, and that is the trigger. Right, let's save that and go back to Unity right there. It's compiling. Okay, let's make sure the player is selected. We now need to add the counting text and display winner to our variables here. So let's come down here. You see display score. So we have display score. So that will be counter, this very one, and display winner will come right in here. There. I think we've got that sorted. Okay, as you can see, we only have 3 of these cubes, so I'm going to add more to make it 8. So let's come right in here. I'm going to change that from 2D to, and let's just go right in here. Just drag those cubes. Okay, this one here, need 4 more. Actually, we'll make the player just do some work, but this is me. I don't want to do much work. So move that up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's add 1 more here. We have 7 and 1 here. Okay, then let's run it and see how that looks like. All right, so let's move up. Let's move the ball or move the player. Let's see if we can get 1 down. We have 1. See that? So let's see. Keep going. We have 2. That is good. Let's see if we can get some more. We just passed one there. I think I may have to reduce the speed. We have 3. Let's see what else do we have. 4. That is very good. Where are the cubes? Oh, there they are, far away. 5, 6, just 2 more. Just wanted to display the winning. And there we go. So let's get those 2. There, one more. And there we go. That's it, guys. We have a winner. And that's how you create your own health bar in Unity 3D. So with that, I'm going to call it the end of this tutorial. I suppose you guys enjoyed. You all have a nice day now. And thanks for watching.